And I am sorry about last week because we tried so hard. The only problem for me is the we part of me is sitting here and doing nothing and being totally dependent. And while the kids were working in their house, the kids being Greg and Kenny, I was sitting here fuming because I thought they'd forgotten. And when I was on vacation with Joni a few weeks ago, we both lost each other. And Joni came up with a sentence: if you don't know where you are, it doesn't help. In other words, you've got to say, if I would have known that they were struggling in their own home with this, I wouldn't have worried. So maybe communication is more important than anything else. Maybe I need a separate telephone system that only the police or Kenny and Greg answer. That's not a bad idea. And it reminds me of what happened today. In this painting, eventually, you will find a blonde lady and a policeman. Because today I spent so much of the day on the boardwalk. It was a heavenly day. But I drank liquid before I went on the boardwalk, knowing there's an open bathroom. And when I got to the open bathroom, there was a sign in the ladies' room, out of order. And I thought, too bad, I'll go to the men's room. If so, I'll write a letter afterwards and apologize. Next time I should have paper and pen with me and paste that kind of thing. But I didn't have to because the policeman and the pretty blonde lady said, go right in, we'll guard you. And they did. And I thought, I'm going to put you into this painting. And I gave them the Hedy Pagramanski thing so they could know what I do. And I said, this is going to be a painting only of good people. And you are good people. So I gave them my first HedyPagramanski.com so that they would know what I'm doing. And then I told the lady a trick that Eric and I learned of how when you're desperate to go to the bathroom and there is no bathroom and you're on a highway. And when I told her the trick, she says, oh, I knew all about it. I've done it too. I'm not going to tell you what because I don't want to get arrested, especially in front of my son here. Okay? When do I begin?
Oh, yeah, you're on.
I'm on, okay. Then let me tell you, I'm going to be painting while you're watching. And Kenny, you're going to be moving your telephone. And can I have my iPad back again? Thank you. Because I have to tell the story before it. And I have to 7, 8, 2, 4, 8, 2. Okay. Kenny, everything is working. The lights, everything. Tell me when.
You're good.
Shall we? Okay. First of all, I've decided the reason for this painting is, as Eric had said, do a painting showing only wonderful people who kindly do things for others. Every one of these is one of them. And I will slowly but surely tell you each story. And I decided how to go about it. Okay? I decided that the only way I can introduce you to so many people who are in this painting and are not yet finished. The people themselves are not finished. But I'm going to speak of everybody in such a way that you will meet them in the way I met them. Okay? Now, and I will not mention names, because if I do, I may say something that they'll be embarrassed about. And one already made me promise, please don't say what I do, because they won't understand. So I won't mention names. And eventually, when the painting is finished, there'll be a chart, which I learned from the Hansons, who've done the prints of the Long Beach paintings. I'll make a chart. Okay, so let me begin with this friend here. Okay, the one with the uniform with blue. He knows how to organize things. In other words, we once shared a garage, not for cars, but for storage. And when I went there, I saw everything was lined up perfectly. And I thought, teach me how to do that. So, if you look at how well arranged this studio of mine is now, the new one, he moves things back and forth so that I can know where to put them. Okay, so let me show you. Here he is. And I said, help me, and I'm not going to mention names. Tell me, I want to start in on the background, but the perspective is so bad on this, I have to measure. He said, how do you measure? And I said, I took a piece of cardboard and I put it on top, and when it was completely straight, I made little markings at the end of the roof, little markings at the end of the roof. And he said, but how were you able to do that when your hand is shaky? And I said, I don't know what to do. I'm going to put it on the table, on my big dining room table, because I'm short and my arm length is short and I cannot stand long. So he said, oh no, I have the exact tool. And he brought this long ruler with a thingamajig at the edge. And you put the thingamajig there, and then you make a middle, and it's exactly that. And that gave me the courage to do what I was dying to put in, which is this. Okay, the man running it, this wonderful place, asked me the other day, how is our painting going? And I said, the moment your area is begun, I'll call you. You'll come over and you'll see. And you can give me advice during it. So the first thing I did was, I've been so lucky because everybody has been cooperating. In this case, the everybody is the Historical Society, because I'm going to fill this, and this is my grandchild's idea, to make the boardwalk in the middle of the fair. And they gave me these awesome photographs. Can you see? Okay, I'll put them all out. Is this incredible? See those tents? They'll be all over. And the people will be all over. And you're going to watch it growing. As a matter of fact, I'll start with that today. That's what I'll start on today. Okay? I cannot do the beach because I need sky. And I'm going to have an awesome sky. And somebody asked me, would you put a UFO there in the sky? And I said, let's see how the sky looks. Give it time, just watch. And you will all watch. Okay, let me stop. There are more, you'll see them as the time goes by. But these buildings, unfortunately, have ruined my area, plus the view of many other people. let me put this here at the moment. But, so, the moment he gave me the size of this roof and the middle of it, okay, I was able to put this one in, even though it's not where it really is. But they ruined it for me when they put the big buildings up and they moved all the trucks. There were these wonderful trucks there once. They're gone. But I'm still going to use one of them. And this one I imported from my son's area. And I'm going to begin painting right now and show you how one begins to enjoy living again. First, as I warned all of you, oil destroys everything it gets near. So cover your things. Even though I wear painting clothes, now, if you're short like I am, and if you have a shaky hand, when you're 93 years old, the chances are your hands will shake. The chances are they'll shake before that. But this allows me to brace my arm. Now, let's begin right now because I can't wait. When people say to me, how long does a painting take? I don't know how to answer because I used to paint a few at the same time. Now I don't have the time. I need to do this one. This one will take everything I need to do. Okay? Now let me show you how I'm beginning. Kenny, where did I put my... Here it is. Okay? But, Kenny, could you put this on my wagon, which faces me?
Of course.
But first, let me find it. There we go. I want you to know he and Greg worked so long on this and got it working, and I'm so proud. Okay, first I'm going to allow myself to have fun because, see, this is now correct. The angle is correct. Everything works. So, first thing I'm going to do is put this in. I cleaned the two little containers. And I wanted to show you how to paint with oil. And that's why I'm doing these things in front of you. This is a medium. It's slow dry because I cannot paint every minute as I used to. Kenny, there's a bottle that I had here. I think it's there. Mm-hmm. Thank you. This is a miracle of the universe. It doesn't stink like turpentine. And Blick advertised that it doesn't stink because turpentine is horrible to smell. Okay. Now I'm going to have fun. Watch this. I'm going to dip this into the medium. I use the thing that you just saw for cleaning the brush. But you know what I'm going to do? It happens that the roof is more orange. Oh, remember when I told you my hand had the skin scraped off? Because of that, I've been very good to my hand I thank it for getting better. And I created a glove. See this? If the fingers get dirty, it doesn't matter. But this was the wound. Okay. Now, how do short people like me do this? They go like this. See, because no. What did I do in order to get orange? I used red and I used this golden, wonderful yellow. But I'm still too short for my hand to reach. So, none of you know the joy that I have when I do this, because you know where the joy comes from? Right now the perspective is okay. When it wasn't, I'm very good at doing things that I love, but very, very bad at doing things that need to be done.
Should I read comments to you?
I'd love it. I'd love it.
Okay. Julie says, thanks Ken and Greg for tackling the tech issues. And Dory says, get a walkie-talkie. And John Taracuso says, hi Ken, hi Hetty, glad you're back. Sending big hugs from California. We are glad we're back too. Amy is watching, Amy Lauren. Dory suggests that we tell people that she's a hooker as she's wearing red. Lauren is watching. Lauren Ruff, yes. And Amy Lauren says, Hetty, I miss you, with little tears in her eyes. And she says, Hetty and her magic hands. And someone seconds that. Julie says, I absolutely love hearing about your process, and also love the fact that you take artistic license and put the things where you need them in the painting to bring your vision of Long Beach to life.
Yes.
Also, looking at your work, no one would ever suspect that your hands shake. Magic.
Because, please watch this. My elbow is on this, and I'm still holding my wrist. In other words, nature did a miracle. It gave us choices of things, and I don't know what choices Kenny and Greg did today to make this work, but it must have been decision after decision. Watch how I'm holding my hand. I no longer put a stroke there without thinking, because my hands need loving. They cannot do what they used to do. So I talk to them and I say, how do I do this? And since all of you already know that I'm 93, arthritis, of course, is part of the equation. And not a friendly arthritis, but a mean one.
Mm-hmm.
And it means that when you need to put a sock on, they have machines. It's not a machine, but it's a thing. And I used to use it. You know, it's a thing, and then you pull the sock on it, and it's got levers, and you put your foot into the right part of the sock, and you pull. So there is something awesome about human beings. Kenny, do you also think it's necessary to show the roof that I'm painting?
Sure.
Okay. so they'll know why. Because I decided, mainly because of Marcia, who told me, do it like a class. Marcia is in this painting, but I'm not going to give names to the people, but she knows. And the thing is this, see, now I'm going to do the curve because I'm not afraid, because of the person who came with that wonderful engineer's ruler and got the centers and everything. I can take risks.
Just to finish people's comments, Marilu is watching.
Hello.
And Tammy says, as soon as that brush hits the canvas, it becomes still. And Marilu says, hola, hola. And Carol Hodkin is watching. And John says, Hetty, I think you started this painting in June of 2021.
John, you know more than I do, because the reason you and I became friends is because you watched Facebook. And when I need to know if I spoke of something, yes or no, if I shouldn't repeat it, I call him. I say, did I speak of this or that? And he'll say yes or no. So, John, not only are you my historian, but I'm going to make life easier for you, because when this painting is done, and you will have to speak about every person in it, and at the moment I'm not giving them names, because in this painting, Eric had wanted me to do a painting showing who we are. And he said, do a painting where future generations... Oops, Kenny?
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't need to, because the light went off there, but at the moment I know exactly what to do.
I can do it though.
We'll do it later. Okay. 7824. Yeah, no, you got it.
So, Carol Hodkin says, you continue to amaze me, and other people agree, and Julie says, yes, amazing. And Phyllis Cooper says, what a great role model.
Phyllis Cooper is the one who made that drawing of me, which is right in back of you, Kenny. And I love it. I love having it.
Pardon the reflection from the saran wrap, from the paper, the protective paper.
I wish I could let all of you hold the brush and see the orange coming. Be prepared. This painting will take probably another year to finish. And now comes fun, okay? First of all, there is a streak of white. In white metal, and I will not be able to really do it correctly, because until the orange red is done, I can't. But until then, remember, the orange will have the bricks in it, and you will learn as I do, as I learn while I'm doing it, how the colors work when they're wet. I just show you the idea of what I'll be doing. But I also need to tell you that it won't be putting white like this on. It'll be darks in between. I will put someday, centuries from now maybe, because oil outlasts us, somebody will look at it and say, what kind of tile did those people use? what is that? And I'll show every curve. But for that, I think I'm going to be working by holding it on a table. Because if I can work on the table, then I can have control. So all of you, don't wait until you're 93 to do a painting that needs a lot of detail. Because it's not as much fun. But on the other hand, nothing is as much fun if it's too easy. All of this, so little time. Oh, and I didn't do the talking. Okay, then I need to do the talking too. Okay, because I decided what I really want to do with the paintings, and it's very important to me. What I really want to do is what, when I was 8 years old, I decided I would have to do. And that was to make people stop hating each other. And that the only way I could do that is by painting only real people and real places. And I suddenly realized what I have been doing when I do people is getting them to talk about themselves. And people do. And I found out that we do not hear each other, but we assume that everybody knows who we are, because we tend to think that everybody sees the world the way we see it. And it is so very difficult to know that each person sees from an entirely different angle, has been treated differently by the world. And so if they say something, it comes from a different experience, and we assume that they know what we're talking about. But we don't. And I lately have been learning that there are very few doctors who will look at a 93-year-old and speak to that person. They will expect anybody older can understand them. So they speak over my head, and I'm miserable. I just found out by visiting a new doctor whom I had not visited before. I found out that they assume because I'm 93, I don't speak English. And they speak over my head. And I found out when I took medication, which was not written precisely for me, and I called the doctor because I did not feel good. And I was just told, read the instructions. But the instructions were not for me. They were for the pharmacist. So I called the pharmacist. And I found out, people, if you need to ask anything about medication, don't necessarily ask the doctor. Call the pharmacist. And my time is up, I believe. But because Kenny and Greg did such a good job, next week I'll have more done. And maybe I've already started to put some of the boardwalk in. Okay?
Let me just say that Dory said ha 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 at what you said, and Julie said agreed, ageism is a terrible insult and injustice.
I said that as a preparation for all of you when you meet it. Just make sure to make friends with your pharmacist. Though, to say, my primary care doctor answers every question and is perfect. Don't stay with any who does not do that. I love you all. Bye-bye.
And Tammy says we love you.
I love you.